law enforcement officials are closely monitoring traffic as holidaymakers head back home after this Easter long weekend. Of course, there's an expected surge along some of the country's main arteries. To get you a sense of how things are faring in that province, let's bring in SABC News reporter Mlondi Radebe, who is watching the situation at the Mariannhill Toll Plaza. And there he is now. Mlondi, of course, that operation had been ongoing for quite some time. Let us in on what officials are finding there.
Thank you very much, Ayanda. We are still here at the Mariannhill Toll Plaza. I'll just step out of the shot, Ayanda, so that you can see. This is a Mercedes-Benz that has been pulled off by the RTI officers. They're suspecting that this Mercedes-Benz, they told us that the VIN number is not matching with the details of the car. So they are still trying to verify those details because it's the second car. If you remember that last week they also pulled a car after Umemezi reported that there was not the engine was not matching with the VIN number of the car. So even today they also have the similar problem in this basically car, trying to verify whether was this car registered, was this car stolen somewhere else. So now they are doing that. But on the other side, they also basically confiscated a firearm from another driver who was also driving a car on the N3. Now that a person failed to produce the documents that if you have a car, you must produce, if you have a firearm, you must produce the license so that they will be able to give him that firearm. The firearm and ammunition is confiscated by the RTI police officers. We did speak to the principal inspector in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Special Tsindani, who briefly told us that they will take this person to the police station so that he will be able to be taken over by the SAPS. I'll just step out of the shot. As you could see that even the RTI officials, they are still busy, Ayanda, with this car to try and make sure that they found the details because this car was driving without a number plate firstly, and that's when they took the paper, the registration that was put on at the back of that car, they did see that this car has got this issue that now they are not sure if this car will be impounded like the last week Golf 8 that was also taken here in Mariannhill. But in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Ayanda, we've got 6 fatalities, and also we've got 6 crashes that happened over the long weekend. And the drinking drivers, they were also arrested, 3 so far today, and they are still busy with the roadblock to try and also they are telling us that they are trying by all means to protect the motorists in this, as well as the members of the public, because also the taxis, 2 taxis, they found 2 taxis to be operating without operating licenses here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, of which now that's a big issue. You'd remember that at some stage there was a strike in this province where the taxi operators were saying that the Department of Transport is not handing over their operating license. They've applied for such a long time, but they don't have those operating license. Last week when we spoke to the taxi operators, they did tell us that 50 of the operating licenses were issued by the Department of Transport, but they were not happy that not all the number was given back to them, and they were also worried that it's because it's during this time of Easter when they will be transporting the commuters to their destination, and the road traffic inspectorate are out on the road, and that will give them a problem. The other issue that the taxi operators told us about is that these licenses, they show that they were issued last year in May, but they only receiving them in April, of which it's a time where you see that it's been, and it's expiring in 2029, of which it's just a 5-year license. Now, if it was issued in 2024 and they receive it in 2025, it gives them problem because it's been a year since this permit is been issued by the department but was not handed over to them. I'll just speak to Ubabuntsindane here, who will briefly tell us about the firearm that is carrying. Babuntsindane, can I have your names and your designation?
Amagamami Holigate Sipesihle wakwaNtsindane, principal provincial inspector under umbutho lo wakwa Public Transport Enforcement Unit obizwa ngoShanela.
Briefly, if you can just tell us about the firearm that you are carrying, what happened and what is happening with this firearm.
Njengoba nje nibona sihamba
So if you can just summarize for English.
We stopped one of the motorists driving around, and then when we check on the motor vehicle, we found that he is also in a position of a firearm and ammunition. Also, he doesn't have a driver's license in his possession. So, and then we confiscate the firearm. We confiscate the firearm and take him with us to the SABC in Pinetown, whereby we will charge him accordingly to be in a position of unlicensed firearm and ammunition.
About driving the car, the car is in the condition to be on the road, but he is not basically licensed.
No, the vehicle is in a good condition to be on the road. But what we discovered is this vehicle has got a tint on the windscreen, of which it contradicts our National Road Traffic Act 93 of 1996, stating that the windscreen must be clear and visible in order for us to look or to check or to make sure that the license disc that is fitted on a windscreen is clearly and visible.
We did see the car that was pulled over here. Can you just also give us details of that car? What happened to that one?
That's a Mercedes-Benz, new Mercedes-Benz. The motorist, the driver who's operating this motor vehicle, told us that the vehicle is new, therefore he is in a position of a temporary permit. But when we do a thorough checking on the said motor vehicle, we discovered that the chassis number that is written on a temporary license doesn't correspond with the chassis number, which is the VIN number on the motor vehicle itself. So in that way, we're going to charge him for operating on our public road a vehicle which is not fitted with either front and rear registration number plate, as well as failing to display a valid license disc, and then the fine will be plus minus 2,000 rands altogether.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
That was the Chief Principal Inspector here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Ayanda, briefing us in relation to what they've discovered so far. You remember that I did mention that 3 drivers have been arrested for drink and driving in this roadblock.